Good afternoon and welcome to the Underbelly podcast, brought to you by Clarity Financial as we peek underneath, poke around, and expose what other news outlets don't want you to know about finance, economics, politics, and, well, everything. Good afternoon. I'm Brent Clanton. Mike O'Neill is in the room with us, along with Jemila Winsey, and we're looking for RIchard Rosso to show up momentarily.
He said he was going to be here. I can't drag him everywhere, Brent. He said he's going to be here. What do you want from me?
It's all right. So we welcome your comments this afternoon. If you're watching via live stream or our Facebook link, give us a shout out, ask us a question, or let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you as well. So, Mike, what do you have for us today?
I'm talking to my friend Kina.
Yeah?
Yeah. She misses me. So what are you going to do? I got to respond.
You got to.
This Underbelly thing, whatever. I'm Facebooking with a friend.
This work is getting in the way of your lifestyle.
It really is. It really is. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. For those of you who are tuning in and those of you who are probably going to be listening to it over the weekend, as I make my mom and wife do.
Do you do like homework assignments?
Exactly. It's like your assignment, and there is going to be a quiz at the end, so you have to watch. And yeah, I'm so excited to have Jemila here. Hi, Jemila. How you doing?
Hi. How are you? I'm good.
We've got you and I got a lot to talk about. We were having a great conversation before the camera started. Mm-hmm. So don't freeze up on me now
of course not.
Now that we've started here. So. But yeah, as always, we need to let's go ahead and take a look at the markets, because right now, what a difference a day makes. Take a look at the Dow right now. It is up almost 300 points. The S&P is up 30 points. The NASDAQ is up 107 points. That's all three markets up about more than a full percent, almost a point and a half for the NASDAQ. Especially Apple, they got a big boost because Warren Buffett just announced that they have just been buying and buying and buying Apple. And so right now, Apple is up 3.6%. Just based on the fact that Warren Buffett is getting involved. Here comes RIchard. He'll get in here. He'll have something to say about the markets for sure.
Always going to have something to say. Hi, RIchard.
So, hey, RIchard, welcome.
I usually have nothing to say.
I know. So we're doing pretty good. But then yesterday, it was a horrible day in the markets, and we really thought that was probably going to be the beginning of the end. But you can't watch these things day by day, because we broke that 200-day moving average. We
bounced right off of it,
and we bounced right off of it.
It's been Buffettized today.
Well, that's what I was just saying. This week, Warren Buffett came in, showed his big support for Apple, and that's pulling up the NASDAQ.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's just been a crazy day, and because I asked Brent if he wanted to come in. Oh, John just walked in. I don't think he's going to join us. Because I had asked Lance if he wanted me to do a special report about the fact that we broke the 200-day, and he's like, doesn't matter till it's the end of the week. Wait to see what happens. And yeah, sure enough, here we are. And it started 100 points south. It started 100 points lower, and now here we up almost 300. So that's a 400-point swing. That is just insane.
Well, market's just trying to figure out where we are.
Yeah.
You're at an apex where the Federal Reserve is there, that obviously they're not in the game anymore, or they want to exit the game.
Right.
If you have earnings are good, so that's been positive. However, again, you've got some softening numbers in other areas. There's a lot of conflicting data out there, and the market's trying to figure it out.
Right.
If we can get some resolution on some things like China and tariffs, but input costs, wage growth, anything that's inflationary along that line, the market's going to have a tough time digesting.
Right.
We saw wage growth numbers today that were sort of a little less than last month, I think.
Yeah, it was
sort of benign overall, even though the unemployment rate fell. So, again, wages are going higher, but at least this looks measured. Again, 1 month doesn't make a data point. But
right.
This, I thought when Apple released its earnings this week, that would have set the tone for a positive move.
Yeah.
But it took a Buffett validation, actually, to get us
going because,
here.
Apple, there were signs. A lot of people are looking not just at the Apple phone sales, but I was reading an article where they look at the components of Apple. Like, it's like, this is a company that makes the screens. This is a company that makes the technology behind the screens and such, just to see it's like what they're doing on their orders and trying to predict what does that mean for Apple. And so they were saying that this means that the iPhone X has probably already hit the end of its run as far as sales go, when the newest innovation that they come out with on the iPhone X is that it's red. You know, it's like, now we have a red one, and it's just like, wow, that's nothing. And so, yeah, it looked like it was, you know, it looked like maybe the beginning. But then, Warren Buffett comes in. He's like, look, it's an amazing company. It's the most profitable American company. You can put all of their products on the kitchen table. I've never seen anything like it. I love it. And now everyone else does, too.
Well, that's right. And they're not just a technology. They are a experience. They are... They're a lifestyle company, right? And and when they went ahead and signed up to where you can buy Apple Music, and that's an annuity stream. That's a revenue stream of people that are spending monthly.
Yeah,
that they have they can tap, such an incredible mass of consumers on other things like Apple Music and other ways to say, hey, how do I pay you every month? The phone becomes. I know it's important.
Yeah.
I was surprised by the sales of the X because there are companies that can test the price points. There are not many companies that have pricing power, I don't think.
Right.
Apple is testing that boundary. Who else is doing that?
You mean like Amazon?
Amazon,
yeah,
right?
Amazon,
so they're going to raise Prime and say, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I dare you not to take Prime. And I'm going to pay it. I'm going to pay it. I mean, I use it. It's very convenient, and that's how it's going to work. So so there are going to be companies, but how many companies can actually test their pricing power? So the biggest issue for the market is these input costs get sort of stuck up front, and then margins get compressed because they can't pass those.
They can't pass
those costs on to the consumer at least quickly.
Yeah, because we talked about that last week, where I was like, I was given serious consideration to getting rid of Amazon Prime.
I know, but are you?
No.
I don't.
Heretic.
No, I mean,
I use it. I buy everything off of that. It's like I think you got to think about what your time is worth per hour.
I don't need 1 to 2 days anymore. I can wait 3.
That's it.
Like I don't. If I have to go to the store, I figure out what my time is worth per hour. It's like I can cut. I love gardening. Right? I got my grass incredibly green. It was dead 2 years ago. Looked like the set of The Walking Dead. Okay. But I don't cut my lawn because I figure out what I make per hour, and I'm like, I'm going to vector that. So if I don't have to walk into a store to purchase something and it could just show up at my door, it's worth for me to pay the extra bucks.
Yeah.
Now, there will be a price point that is going to be painful for me. I don't know what that is yet. I tried to assess that. I didn't go to I'm never going to do it. I went to what if it was $150?
Yeah,
that hasn't stopped me either.
$10.
I mean, I
300. I'm doing it. No, but even then, it's 150. But I don't know what my own price pressure point is. But at least you got companies that are going, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this and see if it works.
Well, I have an Alexa. And so it's like, so that, at least, so if I want to listen to music, or I always ask it to listen to my Flash News briefings and my Amazon Music and the comedy channels. And so, so that's kind of included with my Prime. And it's one of those things where it's like, I order some things online. I don't mind waiting 3 days.
I'm not ordering any Alexa, because I'll tell you one story.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a friend of mine who said to me that he says, well, I like this thing. He says, but my wife and I were, in the bedroom, and all of a sudden Alexa starts laughing. I don't need any kind of I don't need any kind of Alexa giving me an evil laugh while I'm in bed. Yeah, forget that thing.
Alexa coaching in the bedroom.
I don't know. Are you done yet? I mean, I'm not. I don't know. It's creepy to me. I'm not doing it.
Just getting jealous.
I think
what about me?
I love technology, but
I
just don't know.
I'll tell you something.
How was you critiquing?
No, I do not. I think I'm right there with you, but I will break into a sweat at the thought of losing my Prime account.
Yeah.
I'm just the store experience is becoming more and more.
And Jeff Bezos knows that. No. Hey, did you see the story about Jeff Bezos got a dog returned to a customer?
No,
really?
Wow.
That one of the delivery drivers wasn't in the U.S., but one of the delivery drivers was dropping off dog food. And that driver took the customer's dog.
Oh, wow.
And he emails Bezos that, this is what happened, that this dog food was delivered, but I know it was your delivery person or whoever they hired, right?
Yeah,
because
the
how they do that,
contractor.
right? Contract.
Yeah.
Took my dog.
Stole
And Jeff
Stole
Bezos
the
got on the
dog.
case the next day. The
Really?
dude had his dog back. He is
Jeez.
like a supervillain from Spectre,
Man.
right? Remember
Right.
Skyfall?
Yeah.
He's that dude, Jeff
Bezos,
Bezos.
yeah,
man.
he's- yeah.
I mean, he got the guy's dog returned. It's on CNBC today, but I thought that was a pretty good
That's
piece.
hilarious.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like that. No, it's funny when you're talking about Alexa, because I've done that. At the end of the night, I'm like, Alexa, I'm going to bed. Okay, good night. I said, Alexa, I love you, and my wife is like, do not say that to Alexa.
What does Alexa say back
Oh,
when you say
goodness,
that?
no.
When I say, Alexa, I love you, she goes, that's very nice, thank you. I can't remember.
Oh, she's like politically correct. Oh, she's like telling you, we're just friends.
she
That's
pulls a hand.
inappropriate.
She pulls a
That's great.
Han
I need
Solo,
to buy
she
an
says,
electronic named Alexa to put me in the friend zone. That's perfect.
There you go.
That's
That would
great.
solve all your problems there.
She pulls a Han Solo. She says, I know.
I wonder if
I gotta
Alexa
get into
is going to be the competitor to Match.com then.
Well,
Oh, there you go.
You know?
I don't know. Although it does kind of tie in with the story that you were telling us earlier, Brent, about how what is it that bad grammar in text is just as bad as bad sex?
No, it's worse.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll,
Go
we'll
ahead.
talk about that later.
Later?
Yeah.
Okay, I was making
I want to bring Rich back in
Yes.
before he has, because he's going to Nashville this weekend.
Yes, I'm going to an investment conference in Nashville. Nashville's my town, man. I love it.
That's awesome.
I love Nashville. And of course, Brent's got family there now.
I do.
Uh,
About to have a second grandchild up there, as a matter of
Wow.
fact. But you're going
when you were
for,
sitting in the backyard, man, and I saw their backyard, and like our backyard is bunion billboards, right? Bunion removal and Asian spas, and they have like hills and
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. That is one of the most Tennessee is one of the most beautiful states.
Well,
I've
it's,
been to.
wonder where you lived,
it's
Rich.
Johnny Cash country, isn't it?
It is Johnny Cash. Well, Hendersonville is.
Yeah.
A lot of stars. So yeah, I'm going there. But I'm also going to donate some stuff to the Johnny Cash Museum. I've got some lyrics and some stuff in the.
So
late
you have actual Johnny Cash museum worthy
Well, I think
memorabilia.
I don't know if they're museum worthy, but I'm going to bring them in there.
So what is it you have? You
I have,
lyrics, like
I have
handwritten lyrics?
handwritten, half done lyrics, a few, and then I also have some scripts from the Johnny Cash show.
Oh, wow,
Which
okay.
was, by the way, if you ever want to, if you're just a lover of music,
Yeah.
Johnny Cash was an inspiration for Linda Ronstadt, Chris Christopherson, all these seminal artists,
Yeah.
Creedence Clearwater, that would come on the Johnny Cash show, which ran on ABC. And I remember just as a little kid watching the show, but you can get the DVDs.
Yeah.
And you see these incredible performances by Glenn Campbell, but he breached every genre in the show on the Johnny Cash
He
show.
was like the C&W version of Ed Sullivan.
He really was, but he knew good music.
Yes.
He didn't care that if it wasn't in this country western, it could have been blues, rock, but he brought a lot of prominence to many artists, and
Yeah.
he's featured them on the show. So there's always a scripts. And I've got a series of them. One script's pretty interesting because it's got Jerry Lee Lewis's phone number in it. It says, Jerry Lee Lewis. I'll bring it in for you guys. And I was like, I wonder if I should just call that number.
Yeah, who has that number now?
I know we should try it
And
like,
do they realize
on the
what it is?
podcast.
Do they realize whose number it was?
Right. If it is a valid number, do you now realize whose number that was
Yeah.
at
Oh
one
my
time?
goodness.
They
We
may.
should make that call on the air.
I agree.
For the podcast.
Bring
that
it
would
in,
be
we'll
pretty fun.
do
I'll
it.
bring it in. It's in the original folder.
That is awesome.
So I used to be a photographer in a past life. I'm trying to get all my photos together from the late 80s, early 90s. And I used to do some photography work for a magazine called Country America and a few others.
Yeah.
Just contract work. So I did a lot of early work. Patti Loveless concerts, Doug Stone. I fell in love with country music when I was a kid, but I got a chance to meet Johnny Cash in June and spend some time with them. And that was a lot of fun. Helped them with some money ideas and some other things and, got to know them. Roseanne sent me a video for my 50th birthday.
Wow.
And I thought that was pretty cool. So I've got some stuff that I want to, I think maybe the museum will take, but I also have some stuff that I'm never going to part with, and my daughter's going to have to take it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going to part with it.
That's
So.
very, very cool. So
very
you're going
cool.
up there this weekend for that.
Yeah, mostly for the conference. But man, if you have not been to the Johnny Cash Museum, and then I believe it's upstairs, is the Patsy Cline Museum, where they have all her furniture from her house that she bought before she died. I mean, she didn't spend much time in it, but they kept everything: the television, the dining room set, even her little collectible salt and pepper shakers. It's a little freaky.
That's cool.
And her handwritten lyrics, she didn't know the difference between your and your. It sort of bothers me.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I know, but I thought that, Patsy Cline, come on.
It gets back to that bad grammar thing.
Yeah, that's a nice segue.
That's the second segue into it, but Brent's like, no, not yet. We're not talking about that yet. That's
And one day, I'm never going to forsake my clients because I love them all. But one day, I'm going to find a way to live in Hendersonville and travel here and visit them.
Well, that's what I always tell people about Houston. When they say, you live in Houston? I said, Houston is cheap to live here.
And it's a great
cheap
city.
to get out of
Oh
here.
my gosh, the people, right?
You know?
I mean, the business.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
goodness.
that's why people stay here.
Yeah.
People stay in Houston not because it's pretty,
No.
but the people you meet and the business you do. It's incredible. It's one of the most culturally diverse cities, and from that level of it is positive. But I don't think of it as Texas. When I drive and I head to Luling for barbecue, and you go through these small towns,
That
to
feels
me,
more
that's
Texas,
Texas,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But
no,
I will tell you a true story.
Yeah.
When I moved here, I traveled from Dallas to Houston, and in 2 days, I put my house on the market in Dallas, and I said, "This is home."
Ah,
That was it,
Hey,
really?
Yeah, that's
Very
the
good.
true story.
That's good.
That's how much I love Houston.
I
You
always-
like those billboards, huh?
no.
Are you fat? Are you fat?
Are you?
That's
Are
a good
you?
one.
Yeah, I like that one.
does this butt make my dress look small?
That's pretty big for a billboard.
You know what's
That's
actually,
pretty much.
you know what billboards, it's like now that we're on this subject,
What?
the are these ones for Mint Dentistry? It says,
I
make
know.
Oh,
teeth
yeah,
sexy.
sexy dentistry.
It says sexy
Yeah.
dentistry.
Yeah.
But the people in the pictures are not smiling. You don't see their teeth.
You know what? I noticed that. I saw a couple of billboards. And
That
I'm like,
is
where's-
true. You don't
where's
really
the
see
teeth?
their
No,
teeth.
you just see this like a little part, or they're just kind of smiling with their lips closed.
You know what that is?
It's great counter advertising.
That is
pretty interesting.
That is toothless marketing.
Yeah, it really is. That's right.
But you got to
That's
admit, the
great.
best billboards ever are Buc-ee's.
Oh,
there's-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like advertising.
I know
jerky.
people in Texas who have never been to Buc-ee's, and I said, "Where the
What?
hell you been?" I grew up in New York, and I go to Buc-ee's every
How
time.
can you not be?
I just
It's
never had a
it's
chance
like
to.
not having an Amazon account.
No, I mean, yeah, it is. It's not like not having Prime.
Exactly. Yeah. No. If you're driving, even if I don't really, it's like I will
where do
push.
you
I'll
live?
drink a big gulp between the first sign and driving to Buc-ee's.
My
Just
house is full of Buc-ee's, like some of the plaques, and they have some
Yeah.
great stuff because I know they do a lot of due diligence when they put a new product in.
Yes.
So they're always
To make
trying
sure
to
it's really-
figure out what those new products.
Yeah.
Well, and
You know, happen to
there's
be.
their geographical marketing strategy.
So smart. They're so smart.
Is such that
Yeah.
these stores are placed in intervals that coincide with the capacity of the average human bladder.
I agree. I completely agree.
Matter of fact, you'll hold it in to get
Yeah.
to a
That's
Buc-ee's.
I do.
Yeah. Just
I
it's
mean-
like 63
How come that's
miles.
not
I'll
a
hold it for
billboard?
an
Hold
hour.
it in until you get here.
Just 5 more miles.
Hey guys, hold it in until you get here. That's a
That's
good
always-
idea.
Exactly.
I had an
Step.
idea for a Buc-ee's panties that I sent in, but I got rejected.
Buc-ee's
Oh, come
panties?
on.
Yeah, with the beaver on the front. I did. I really sent that in.
That is so
Oh,
And
did
they
they
went-
not pack the?
And they went, we're sorry,
They were
but...
like,
Yeah.
thanks,
Oh.
but
And it said on the back, on the back it said beaver in front. On the butt. And they said don't
And
contact
they didn't go for that?
They said don't contact us
I
again.
think that was a great idea.
I think so.
I think that would have been a seller.
Come on, you got to admit
Yeah.
it's not a bad idea.
No,
but
it's
you
not.
but you wouldn't wear them.
Well, maybe I might make my husband wear them.
See?
You know, role play and everything.
That,
Oh,
or there's a
man.
jerky joke in there somewhere.
Exactly.
Oh.
I am not. I'm not going there. I'm
This
not
isn't
going
the
there,
radio,
no.
right? This is the podcast.
This
Yeah,
is a
well,
podcast. We're good.
Yeah, we'll hear what's going on. Oh man! So the other big thing that we're the reason that we have Jemila in here, and it's so grateful to have you in here, is that there is so much going on in the real estate market. And like I said,
Yes.
we were talking about it. And how busy have you been? How many contacts have you gotten just in the 15 minutes that we've been on air of people saying, "Contact me. I've got a house I want to buy. Hurry up."
Well, literally, I had to put my phone on do not disturb, not vibrate, because
Dang houses. Going
know-
like hotcakes.
it is. The Houston market is not just the Houston market. The the United States, the market is just hot, period.
Right.
There's not enough supply, right? We have a
Yes.
supply issue, aren't we?
We are having a very serious supply issue, especially for homes under $250,000.
Yeah, so like if you starter homes, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you think it is? Do you think that maybe builders are very, they've been burned because they overbuilt, and maybe they just build enough, like they're smart enough to know to keep the prices elevated? Is that part of it? Or they just can't get materials and workers? Because I know there's a worker shortage in a lot of ways and skilled labor and so forth. Or
It's
what do
a
you
combination of several different
Okay.
things. I mean, we obviously went through a housing slump, which we've gotten over. Houston's way past that housing slump. But when you really think about it, it's that, and then builders are being very cautious about putting new inventory on the ground, right? And the cost to build is expensive. So
Yeah.
they will take their time, but at the same time, we have more people coming into Houston than you can think of.
I saw some numbers
There's
the other day. Like,
huge
what is it by
influx.
per day or week? I'm like, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to move around here.
I believe
Yeah.
there's a projection in the next 5 to 10 years we're going to be we'll probably add another million or so to the population. So it's just growing.
Yeah.
And then there are sellers.
We'll need a
who-
291 to complement
290 to go
Right.
along with 290. No, because you had said that we have, because they measure supply in a matter of months, right? So we're at nationwide about 3.4 months.
Nationwide
That
about
means
3.4,
If
correct.
if everything that is for sale stays for sale, no new things come up for sale, no new houses are built, in 3.4 months they will all be gone.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly. And in Houston, it's about 3%.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and then homes that are under $250,000 are slowly decreasing. So the builders are now beginning to build to keep up with that demand, but the demand keeps going up. Interest rates are rising, and then the SALT deduction also,
Right.
depending on how people feel about it. But some people are getting increased paychecks, which means they want to buy more. And some people are trying to get off the fence to buy now because they don't want to pay more because of the interest rates going up. So
Right.
it is a combination of several different things.
Are you seeing pressure for people now as mortgage rates are going up to maybe, are they rethinking? Like saying, oh gosh, we have to redo, because interest rates can only go so far before I think you sink things a bit on the mortgage side. I mean, what do you think?
Well, you mean people who want to buy? And
Yeah.
there are folks jumping off the fence. I mean, there's a projection that we'll get up to about 5% within the next two to 3 years. So,
And that's low, relatively speaking.
that is low,
But we're so
relatively
addicted
speaking.
to these low
Exactly.
rates, right?
Right.
That
Exactly.
we're like 5%. Oh my gosh.
But the thing about it also is there are also sellers who are going, well, I don't want to buy another house because I don't want to sell my house right now because what am I going to buy?
Yeah.
Right.
But what sellers should also know is that the luxury home market is also seeing a huge influx. Actually, the inverse.
Huh.
The luxury home market is actually there's more inventory on the luxury home market now, and so if you're a seller who's looking to move up or trade up, this is the perfect time to do it.
This is a good time because
exactly.
your house is probably, somebody wants that.
Right. So
And
get it
you,
to-
yeah,
Exactly.
okay. So if you're looking to trade up,
Now's the time to do it. And
Okay.
so this is the perfect balance, I think, in our industry,
Yeah.
for those looking to purchase right now and those looking to actually trade up as well.
Because my wife and I we just bought a home, an investment home, and it's like we had missed so many because they pop up, and it's like if they appear on HIR.com, which is our big real estate website and the app around here, with all the listings, all the MLS listings, it's like if it pops up there, you're probably already too late.
For those price points that we discussed, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, there's still a ton of buyers out there that still can't afford to purchase.
Right.
Which is why that we know that we were talking about.
It is renter nation. I mean, if you
It
look
is.
at actual home ownership,
Right.
I think we're at levels. I understand it's recovering, but when you start going back in history, you're at levels you haven't been at since I think the 60s, or early 70s, as far as actual home ownership rates.
What you were about to start talking about is that Freddie Mac is now introducing a lending program for first-time home buyers. It allows you to just put 3% down and no income limit verification. Can you believe that?
Bad,
it's
bad.
Yeah,
Alexa says bad.
Oh,
I don't know, but you
I
have
don't
a
like
take
that.
on it.
I do have a take
I
on it.
don't like that. I don't like that. That's my Alexa voice.
That's your Alexa.
So what does that mean? No income limit verification.
Well, I think that what everyone needs to understand is that the home possible mortgages that were made by Freddie Mac it's basically for affordable housing for people with low to moderate income. This program actually
and excuse me, but define low to moderate too, so we know what kind of range we're talking about.
Well, it varies by city and by state.
But for Houston, for example,
for Houston, we're looking at about 35 to 50. Sometimes, in some cases, for a couple, $70,000.
Okay, and how does that compare nationally then?
Nationally, it's a tough one because even though we have low to moderate income housing in certain low to moderate income in certain places, there are areas like New York and California that have those high cost real estate.
Right.
And so that shifts the balance up a little bit. So we have to look at each one and basically determine. There's no blended type of scenario here. It's all very, very.
So what's your take on this? Because we have guardrails.
Okay.
Like we give people debt guardrails, and we say, Clarity, no more than twice your gross income, household gross income in mortgage debt. That is it. But obviously, this is going to be a way to blow that thing out of the water.
Well, look at it this way. You know, when you think about the middle class, which we now consider in some cases the new poor. You know, I can't afford to buy that house because I can't afford to buy that $400,000 house. Not that I can afford the payments, but I can afford the down payment. And I can't qualify for down payment assistance because I make too much money. What Freddie Mac has is called the average median income in a particular area. And that's really what they're talking about. They're saying that in certain areas, certain homes, you can now put 3% or even get up to 100% financing and not have to qualify for that average median income in that area. So for instance, Houston, which has been declared a disaster area, there are no limits there, which means that, on a conventional loan, I can now buy a house if I'm quote unquote cash poor, but I have a steady job. I have a family. I'm responsible.
But how do I buy a $400,000 house? I'm just saying, at 3% down.
Right.
My mortgage payments $3,800, $3,900.
So less than that now.
What?
A little less if you consider its current interest
Okay,
rate.
but what I'm saying is, but it's still going to be
$3,000 a month.
It's still going to be like $3,000 a month for a family that makes $50,000. I'm
But-
like,
yeah. but
plus the upkeep, right? Taxes.
But I'm guessing this is specifically for first-time home buyers.
So it's going to be a lower. I mean, is there a lid on this?
I don't
Probably
think
lower.
so. And I used $400,000
No,
because
but I
the
know,
loan
but
limits
right.
for conventional, right?
Okay.
It's
So does it follow
453.
the conventional
Yes,
limits
it's
of 400?
conventional,
Okay.
So $453,000 is the current loan limit for conventional loans and some change. But
do they look at, say, for example, I do make good money.
Yeah.
But I just can't make the down payment. Do they
Correct.
look at least at my overall debt levels to
Absolutely.
see if I can make that payment and what
Absolutely.
percentage it is of my, okay.
yeah, so you got a 43% debt to income. So
Okay.
you're being qualified at the same pace, making sure that you can afford the payments and so on and so forth. So I actually think it's a good thing.
So what you're saying is it's that just because I may not have the lump sum for the down payment, but I have enough cash coverage.
Absolutely.
They're going to look at my other debt levels to make sure I can make the
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I
And it
see.
also gives people who have the ability. It also gives people who don't have credit scores, and that happens.
Right.
They have to provide some type of some documentation and things like that. You can also get gifts from your family and friends and things like that to help you with your down payment. Some of these programs will qualify for down payment assistance outside of the average median income, but I think that it does give everyone the ability to say, hey, I can own a home right now. So this year I'm marking the 50th year of Fair Housing. I think it's a great program. It actually comes into effect in July.
Okay.
So
You know what
you
Jamal's
can-
going to help me with?
You
Was
could tell
what
your
I want-
family unless you want me to move in with you.
Yeah,
Eventually, I'm going to buy a house the size of the studio.
Yeah.
And have to fit 20 dogs in it, and you're going to help me. You're going to show me how to do
Absolutely.
that.
I will do that.
We were talking about that earlier this week. Those mini houses.
Tiny
the
houses.
tiny
I wrote
houses.
about
Yeah,
that.
that's a new
You
trend.
could fit 2 of those in
But
the studio.
2012, I said in my book that this was going to be one of the hottest things going. And because I got to meet Brad over at Luling, who there's tiny houses up in Luling. You ever seen it?
No.
Off the side of the road?
No.
Oh, yeah. He's been building tiny houses
Oh,
forever,
good. I
and
gotta
he's
take a
like a
drive.
hippie dude, and he's like the best.
If you blink, you miss it because they're so small.
Right. No, that's true. But as you're going past Luling, you'll see it. And you should take a tour of that place just to see what those houses are using
gonna be worth a
reclaimed wood.
trip.
It's beautiful.
And then we'll stop for barbecue for lunch.
Absolutely.
I think
And
that sounds like a
Buc-ee's.
day
Yeah.
trip.
And
Yeah,
Buc-ee's.
exactly.
Buc-ee's for a fill-up.
Yeah,
Yes.
because my wife has been talking about that. She goes, we should get a tiny home. I was like, I am not living in a tiny home. It looks good on TV. It looks good on YouTube, but I
could do
have
it.
no desire.
I
could
could do
not
it.
do it.
Well, single person, we were talking about this before
Yeah.
the show started. I could do it if it was just me and I wanted to be a hermit, but for two people, that's awfully
Just
tight.
buy
Too
two
close for
400 square foot homes, you
Yeah.
and your wife,
Uh-huh.
you and your lovely wife, and have a little bridge between
So right
them.
between,
and
yeah,
you
just
both
to
have
not-
your own little spaces. Do you know, I heard about the new trend is, though, because millennials, even my daughter who's Gen Z, they don't want big homes.
No, they
Yeah.
don't.
They get stressed out, right?
That's because
there
they've
are
seen
some-
us stressed out all these years.
I
but
can
there's
see
some,
that.
but there's some home builders that are building, I think, 1,400, 1,500, 1,600 square foot homes. I've seen pictures and so forth, and they make amazing use of that space.
Yeah.
What are
They
they
do.
going for, those homes? Do you know?
About 280 to 320 or so.
Seriously?
Yes, under 300,000. I mean, it
But
depends
they
on
have
where
a
it's
lot of them.
located.
But
Yeah.
they're very high quality, and they have a lot of. I can't explain it, but they're very nice.
1,400 square feet for $300,000.
Yeah.
You would be
That's
surprised how,
nuts.
and
No.
that's kind of where we're going. But they are, I mean, they're today's home. They're teched out,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, energy efficient.
Energy efficient. They have
Yeah.
all the top of the line, but they're built the way they've been put together is really
That's
amazing.
going to push me over the edge. I'm just going to go get an Airstream.
You can buy a tiny home. What are those? Not the manufactured. Yeah, maybe the manufactured homes, right? Or is it
get
Clayton homes
You can get
or
a manufactured home
for like
very,
70,
very cheap.
maybe 80,000 bucks, right?
Yeah.
I get my land, right? My 20 dogs, and don't bother me anymore.
That's right.
And I can work at Buc-ee's.
There you go.
There you go, and then you can sell that idea.
Yeah.
I think they'll
The
take it then.
panties
Yeah,
idea.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll be your first customer.
But your husband's going to kill me though, and he's
Oh,
a big
he'll be
guy.
okay.
That's-
He's
He's
a
a
big
big
guy.
guy.
He'll be like,
Just
how
wrong.
dare you? I'm not wearing no beaver pants.
So the Houston housing situation right now, and the builders are
Yeah.
doing what they're doing. Have you seen a reduction in the number of spec homes that home builders are putting out there in order to sell the rest of their line, or are they continuing to build those things as before?
They're continuing to build because the demand keeps going up. Now, I think one of the lessons learned from the last crash is that everyone's being a little cautious, right? They're not having to release all of this inventory at once like
Yeah.
the way they used to.
They're a little gun shy. They want to make sure they maintain their levels, right?
Absolutely. So a lot of inventory, you'll find inventory homes, but they are building, but they're flying off the shelf as quickly as they, and it really depends on the neighborhood. When you think about master plan communities like in Katy, or Sugar Land, Missouri City, where there are great schools, those are the first places that folks with families are going to be looking.
Right.
Places like the Heights, where the millennials are flocking in, not the Heights, inside of the Loop.
Yeah.
And also the Heights where the millennials are flocking into. It's getting very difficult to get anything under $500,000. Brand new home. And even a resale home, depending on what you're looking for. So, but there are homes that exist that are affordable, that are under that price. You'd have to work with somebody who's really good and understands the area. But it is becoming an increasing challenge. I think that there needs to be more inventory underneath that price point.
And you might know somebody who could do that.
I think I do.
Yeah.
I do. Her name's Jemila Winsey.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jamal, as far as what's the most important feature today for people when they walk into a house? Like, what are they really looking for as far as what closes it? Like, I know because everything, there's always like the new thing or that, I have to have the kitchen that's open, or now I don't want this area open. And I'm a little confused by what people like anymore. So what has been like the most popular, what you think?
It hasn't changed much. It's always
Okay.
the kitchen, bathroom.
Really?
All
Really?
kitchen, bathroom. But at the same time, what people are looking for are they're lifestyle homes. You
Right.
know, something that won't. I don't want heavy utilities. So obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, energy efficient. But
Okay.
I think what we should be looking at forward, what we should be doing is looking forward when folks are when the Tesla homes like Tesla sold out, and Tesla has the solar paneled roof that can charge your car up. So when you think about real estate of the future, and we might be looking for homes that have those functionalities, homes that have that type of tile roof and things like that.
No, but even my daughter, she's very green. And she's been a vegan for, 10 years. She's 19. I mean, she's never liked meat, but they're looking for those kinds of features, right?
Absolutely.
Efficiency and
then everything else is everything, and then just not a whole lot of maintenance. You'll find a lot of folks in a certain price point. A certain age range. Even our baby boomers looking for zero lots because they don't want that yard
to deal with all the
maintenance.
stuff anymore. Yeah,
exactly.
And complete brick siding instead of the lap board stuff.
And builders are getting very smart. They are giving, they are now building homes. If you're looking at a brand new home, about $350,000, you should be seeing that brick on the side as well. People don't. I mean, I have people literally walking away from homes that have large lots. They just don't want
the deal
them.
breaker for me is the garage. They're putting these small garages on these houses right now.
Brent, have you seen your car?
Two cars in there.
Brent, have you seen your car?
Yeah,
you can fit like 5 of them in the garage.
It's an MX-5, but next to it is a full-size Jeep Commander.
Oh, there you go.
I knew it had something to do with the
you don't have room to turn around in there anymore.
Yeah. No, for me, it's the kitchen, and I like tall ceilings.
Oh yeah.
I feel claustrophobic if I'm in anything under 10 feet.
Yeah, and standard in most homes that are being built today, it's you're not going to get those cathedral ceilings, but it's going to be at least 10 feet.
Yeah.
I don't think they make those big, like 30,000-foot ceilings anymore, do they?
Oh, you still find them.
I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this?
Yeah, you still find them.
I got to change that bulb.
Yeah.
Well,
up there.
And the ugly truth
I get Connie to do it.
The ugly truth about that is you have to cool and heat.
Yes, all this
up
speed.
there.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
I love the homes in the Heights as far as the old, the Sears homes, but
the old style.
I just love those old style homes.
And you notice that the windows were opposed on each side of the house, so you had flow through
ventilation. Stephanie Geary at KPRC moved to Austin with her beau. Left KPRC. And she's been posting pictures of her house, and it's one of those in Austin. And it's so incredible. Like I love these homes with the reclaimed wood.
Oh yeah.
But they look like these old.
They have
Sears,
a lot of character,
and they're so well made.
And our
these
operations person here, Nicole, is having a house built like that. The old style with the windows, so you get the flow through ventilation. Very cool.
And another thing to answer that last question about what people are looking for. A lot of we are having buyers who are looking for homes with good bones. And they will rehab them. That is a trend
structure,
today.
That's cool.
Yeah, they want that home in an established neighborhood with the trees and
just make sure the previous owner isn't in the staircase.
Now I got a question for you that maybe you can answer for me that really ticks me off and I can't understand it. Why is every new development I walk into have no trees?
Well,
I love trees, right? So my house has got 25 huge trees, and I'm like, what is the deal with new homes? And people don't want any trees. Like, trees make the house to me.
May I? I think the answer to that is it's not that they don't want the trees. It's that it's cheaper to develop the land when it's raw ground with no
and then
vegetation
put trees in later and kill all these great trees?
You got to lay your sewer lines down. You got to lay your utilities in. And if you've got to go around, some tree that's been there for 50 years, and I love them too.
Yeah. Like we're in areas that have those kinds of trees.
Exactly. Yeah. But the house that we're living in is 13, 15 years old, and that's what they did. They went in, scorched earth, put in the utilities, built the houses, and then they planted trees. So here's the secret on that. If you will water and fertilize and nurture that tree regularly, within about 7 to 10 years, it's going to be
I'll be dead
to the
by
level
then.
that you
Thank
want.
You.
No, you won't.
I'll be dead by that time. Oh, great. I'll be buried under that tree.
But it's economics and development is the reason why they do it that way.
And some subdivisions are actually creating rules around that to make sure that certain trees are saved.
Are they?
Yeah. Sienna Plantation is one of them. It isn't. It's hard though. Yeah. Sienna Plantation is a beautiful community that has several trees all around them. But it is getting increasingly tough considering the age and the developers that are coming in and. infrastructure and everything.
For our HOA, it's like I was going through, reading where my wife and I live. It's like they require 2 trees in every front yard.
Oh, yeah.
And, so,
and a chicken in every pot.
Exactly. And so I was reading it, going through the HOA rules, and I saw that. And at first I thought, it's like, because I like all the trees in our neighborhood. It looks good. But then when you read it as a rule, then you're like, these Nazis. Now going down, and it's like, now I just get bitter when I see 2 trees in front of every house.
I buy a new home. I open the blinds to my bedroom window, and I look up at the power lines, and I go, I'm so happy.
Oh,
you
that
go.
is a sexy
Not
view,
for
isn't
me.
it?
It is. That's awesome. So we're coming up actually to the end here, and this is the time usually when we talk about movies. Yeah, Richard is very excited about this because you weren't here last week, so we didn't get to talk, much about the Avengers.
Oh,
How did you see it?
Oh gosh, did I?
Did you?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Oh man, how awesome was it?
It was marvelous.
Was it?
It was
Very nice.
amazing.
it
but-
was a good story.
We're probably
It was a
going to
great
get
story.
spoilers if you don't
Well,
want
no
any spoilers.
spoilers.
Yeah, no
well, no,
spoilers.
let's get into the spoilers. It's already made $800 million in less than a week globally.
800
million, yeah. It's
and it
already
hasn't
passed.
been released hasn't been released.
China is the only place that hasn't been released yet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, everywhere else.
They're busy,
and China's the
they're
next
busy
big one.
copying it.
Exactly. They want to get a head start for that pirate market
The
out
one
there,
in
so-
China has Godzilla in it.
Exactly.
No, yeah, instead of the
Days
Hulk,
of
right?
Japan.
Claymation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So of course, we're talking about the Avengers, the Infinity War. I have to say, I was actually a little suckered in when they said, "Okay, we're not going to call it Infinity War Parts 1 and 2," and then I'm like, "Great, they're going to go ahead and resolve it by the end of this movie," and they
No.
don't. They
No.
don't. And yeah, of course, the big goal of Thanos was that he wants to, which I thought. Here's another great thing as I'm jumping subjects. Thanos was a great
He's
villain.
the antagonist, but he's the villain.
The
yeah.
antagonist. He's a great villain because he had a very almost understandable goal.
Yes, it's almost like you say, wait a minute, I understand where he's coming from, right?
Yeah.
Like less people, I mean, we're like a plague.
Yeah,
right?
his-
people are like
Yeah.
a plague. The less people, the better the planet, right?
His planet of
he
Titan.
calls it mercy.
His planet
right?
of Titan just like devolved.
Yet he shows,
how
that was before and how it was after, right?
because his planet got overpopulated.
Yeah.
So that's very much of the kind of thing that everyone can connect to here.
Right.
The planet got overpopulated. They ran out of resources. It led to disease and misery and starvation, famine, death. And the planet was in ruin because it got overpopulated. And so,
So it
as a
imploded,
mission of mercy, he's going to wipe out half of the universe,
Right.
Just so that everyone can continue living for however many billions of years it takes after
Yeah.
that. Stunning motivation and so well done. And at the end, he does it. He did it.
He does it, yeah.
He does.
Not to spoil this for you guys.
We
You haven't
spoiled
seen
it.
it yet.
Turn it off now if you don't want to hear the spoilers.
But he's a character that almost has some feeling because when he comes in, he says, he goes, what's your vision for the end? And he goes, I just want to go out on my, and watch the sun come up
And smile.
and smile.
man.
And that's what he did,
Exactly.
right? And you almost like, gosh, it was you didn't like the guy, obviously,
Right.
but
you understood
from
him.
his perspective, you sort of got what he was doing.
I like the fact that they made that such an emotional character.
Right,
You know?
right, 'cause you
could-
really
he
wanna
wasn't
just
a
hate-
type
right.
of villain. He
Right.
was just you could understand. He felt. He cried.
Yes.
He spoke.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. I
Yeah.
And
I
it- 'cause-
sat there at the theater for 30 seconds, even after all of
even after
the
the credits,
credits,
even after the
even
post
after
credit.
and I just
Yeah.
I
You're
just-
sitting there shaking
I didn't
your
know
head.
what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to feel.
Everyone, our theater was just dead quiet. Usually there's a lot of cheering at the end of
Yeah.
these Marvel films, but, at the end it was just dead quiet. And I had a guy who was actually 2 seats over. He was like, well, you know what they're going to do to bring him up? And thankfully, I was about to choke the man, but thankfully his friend says, dude,
Shut up.
just let us have this.
Let's just
He
let's-
just
I
told
need-
him, let
need
us
this
have
moment.
this.
I think Robert Downey Jr.'s story is so amazing. How he's come, but his character, right, Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, yeah.
When he's there and he realizes what happened, his face.
When he
That
realizes
look,
that
that
this is
this-
what he saw when in the very
Yes,
first Avenger.
exactly.
Yeah.
You could see it all on his face that how much it weighed on him that they failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was really
absolutely.
good movie.
It was just, it was.
But what's some of
absolutely
your what
moving.
was some of your good takeaways from it that we're taking over here?
Well, no, I mean, it's like for me, it was just one of those things where it was stunning. Of course, you appreciate and you enjoy seeing the interaction from all the characters from all these different franchises coming in, and Thanos was just the best because like last year, I think we had no fewer than 3 movies with the Justice League and Wonder Woman and what was the other one? X-Men.
Yeah.
Apocalypse. Oh no, it was the Mummy.
Mummy.
The Mummy. Yeah, the Mummy and Apocalypse and Avengers, where they were basically saying the villains wanted to come in and they didn't like the way the current world looks, so they want to revert it to how they used to be.
Right.
When they were in control, and it was like the worst motivation ever, and that's what made Thanos so good because this was you could almost agree with it.
And didn't Thanos say to Tony Stark, "I've been in your head"?
Yeah.
All this time or all along. So
He
they
really
really
has.
tied up a lot of the stuff from the previous movies.
So it's going to win.
Go see it this weekend.
It's going to win
I got to
again.
see it again.
It's going to
Yeah,
win
I'll
again
probably
this
see it about
weekend.
3
You've got Overboard remake with Eugenio Derbez and then Tully, another coming of age. So, but we're done with that. Oh,
Yep.
did we
All
get
right,
it in?
We're out. Yep. Jamila, thanks so much for being
Oh,
here.
Yes,
Thanks for
thank you
having
for
me.
your
Great fun.
insight.
Rich,
Yeah.
have a great trip to
Absolutely.
Nash Vegas.
Thank
And Mike, it's been fun working with you, buddy.
This is my ultimate
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
I
Mike,
believe
go
in.
F yourself.
I've got other things I'm moving on to.
Yeah,
so thanks
goodbye.
everyone for tuning in and
right.
watching.
Mhm,
I
sure.
love you
You're
all.
dead to me.
The Underbelly podcast available wherever
Thanos. You're
podcasts are shown. Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend.
Thanos O'Neill.
Oh, wow. That was fun, guys.